a well-motivated team can achieve the impossible.
At the 100-day workshop, the sponsor West Coast Main Line, Robin Gisby, issued a challenge to all groups. Each group should adopt a nominated project. Each group should visit a delivery site before the 7th of April, and they should bring back hard evidence that zone-based people were actually met, that the group appreciated the size of the project task, and that the group had fun. The West Coast Route Mod Data Management team were instructed to visit the site of bridge number 14 at Sandbach. Their mission to seek out the delivery team behind the renewal of bridge number 14 and uncover the blueprints for the successful reconstruction. The team made their way from different parts of the UK to assemble at Crewe, where they were greeted by the structural renewals team who delivered the project in February 2000.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Mr. Phelps. Mr. Phelps. Mr. Phelps. Mr. Phelps.
Tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Self-destruct in 5 seconds.
No, when you get there, you'll see it's a railway bridge over the canal, and the bridge had a permanent speed restriction on it for 20 miles an hour. The line speed is 60.
Right.
So the original brief was to get the line speed back to 60. But the aspiration for this line is 90.
Yeah.
It's not the fast lines. There's 4 tracks there. It's not the fast lines. It's the slow lines. So the bridge has been designed for the aspirations for the route. So there was a very real performance reason for reconstructing.
Sure that won't last,
and
but...
the condition was less than what you would want in any case. I would say it certainly wasn't life expired, but it was on its way.
So that's an improvement on the past.
Yeah.
This programme has got a lot of what I would call smaller projects, what I would call routine bread and butter type work activities. And a number of you are involved in this programme are involved in those routine bread and butter type things. And one of the things I would want to make sure, and it come out quite strongly in some of the achievements that you shared back from your individual teams, is that those are as important as the big sexy projects that we've got to deliver as well.
The renewal of Bridge 14 began on Friday night, the 25th of February, and proceeded over the weekend to the early hours of Monday morning, the 28th of February. A total possession time for the canal and railway of 56.5 hours.
And with it being a bridge over a canal, that threw its own little problems in it, because not only do we have to have a track closure, we have to have a canal closure. And there's only certain times of the year that the rivers authorities will let you get a canal closure as well. So the old bridge, basically the way you run through it, it's overhead lines, the lines are slewed out the way, any signalling and telecom cables are taken out. Track cut, track up, ballast out, lift the old bridge out, and that's probably the most risky point in the whole weekend, because there's always that little bit of doubt about how much the old bridge is going to weigh. And there's always that potential that the bridge is going to snag somewhere, it's going to foul something, and you're going to struggle getting it out. But it came out in one piece. And then the new bridge was actually fabricated as two separate bridges, one for each track. Composite steel and concrete construction, and it was already made, brought to the site as two made-up bridges, lifted in by the same crane, and then ballast back in, tracked back on, overhead lines slewed back, and the S&T cables put back in as well. Now the abutments, the old ones were broken down to a level that we knew would hit sound. It was basically brickwork, solid brickwork. The abutments. And before we brought the new beams in, there were two concrete sill beams that we'd had prefabricated concrete. So they were brought in, sat on a mortar bed, and then the bridge beams were lifted with their bearings on, they had structural bearings on. So all the bridge, in that 54 hours, you've got all the old abutments to cut down and break down, and prepare and put new sill beams on as well.
To cover them up.
Yeah.
So isn't that a problem when you put it on a slab? It's made of cement, so it's like extra weight. Does it have time to set?
No, we can use rapid hardening grouts and concrete. They'll harden in a few hours. But it is, breaking down the old abutment is risky because again, you're never quite sure what you're going to find at the back. We've got records from 120 years ago because that's how old the bridge was, but you're still never quite certain if you're going to find something that's going to be very difficult to break out. But it's called a Z-type. It's a standard old BR design, meaning that the main structural members in cross-section like a Z. So you have two Z beams like that, and you put a concrete deck between, and then the U shape it's formed, you fill with track ballast.
You got two girders on the side in effect.
Yeah. And then there's another one of those. There's one. So you've got two girders, concrete slab for one track, and exactly the same for another track.
And is that section concrete? Concrete section, so it's one solid one.
Yeah, it's one solid. Yeah. Yeah, it's not individual units. That's cast. That was cast up at Watson's Yard before the weekend possession. They're standard designs. They're all BR standard designs that have been updated. But it's not. The steel members that you are fabricated for the purpose. They're plate girders, specifically welded girders for the job. It was designed by White Young Green.
White
Young Green.
White Young Green, okay.
You're not come across them.
No.
We use them a lot in the northwest. We took the old bridge out in one piece. With a very big crane out, 1,000-ton crane, which there's very few in the country. We did have one hiccup a week before the job. The crane supplied. The crane he had for us was stuck on another job that had overrun by a week, so we didn't have a crane. Well, he didn't have a crane, but Nuttall's exerted a little bit of pressure on us to get another crane. Yeah.
That this programme's all about breaking new ground, and I thought that was a very astute comment.
What in the preparation, in the weeks beforehand, contracted to prepare an hour-by-hour programme, absolutely every single activity. We put it on Primavera and sit down as a team with their subcontractors as well. We bring all the subcontractors in, and we analyse every single activity, and we go right the way through. And this bridge, probably the programme must have had best part of 100 different activities in it. And we look at those and we say, right, what's the risk attached to that particular thing going wrong? And if it went wrong, could it be 30 minutes late, or could it be 30 minutes? If it could be 30 minutes late, what could we do to make sure that delay doesn't happen? What can we have on site to mitigate it? More plant, more equipment, more men. We go right through the programme, every single activity, put it into a package called Monte Carlo that runs the risk analysis, and then it gives us a level of confidence that we're going to rebuild the bridge in the hours that we've got. And this one, it showed us, we knew there was flood in the programme, we knew that it should be achieved in the time that we were doing. But it doesn't change the fact that it's always risky. Because that weekend there was actually gale force winds forecast, and this crane was good up to a wind speed of 30 mile an hour. And on the Saturday night, you reach the point of no return where you take the bridge out, because once you've taken it out, there's nowhere to go. You've got to keep going. And the weather forecast for the early hours of Sunday morning was bad. We're forecasting 30 mile an hour winds. But we were ahead of programme, so we went on. And on the second bridge beam went in on the Saturday night about 10 o'clock, and the wind speed was up to 28. So you can't, nobody's got any control over the weather, so fortunately it doesn't matter how many risk analyses you carry out, you're still dependent to some extent on the...
State of self-destructive 5 seconds.
Explanations from Paul over, it was time to see the actual bridge on site and take closer inspection of the work. First stop, the back of Eddie's bus, to collect the prerequisite hard hats and jackets. All clothing kindly prepared and provided by the delivery team, exhibiting the same professional planning and preparation they'd used to install the new Bridge 14.
And one of the key reasons that the programme went well was we took the old bridge out in one piece. It was a big lift. It was, what, 85, 90 tonnes?
Over 90 tonnes, I think.
Over 90 tonnes.
Was the old bridge steel as well?
Yeah, the old bridge was steel. Wrought iron. So the old bridge then taken out. The new bridge, and you'll see it when we get down there, is in 2 sections. It had been brought in on low loaders, already made up, but without the ballast and without the track on. So once the old bridge was out, we prepared the abutments, and you can see those new concrete beams that are in there, running the full length. They were precast, lifted into position on a. So all of the abutment had to be cut down. And that, again, that's another area you're never quite sure what you're going to find at the back. That's one of the risk events of the programme. The record says that this bridge was finished an hour early, but the reality was we were about 8 hours ahead.
Challenge for us is on West Coast, how do we do it different? I think I've said to you before, or we've said to you before, one of the things West Coast has got to do is it's got to change the behaviour within Railtrack.
The civils enabling contractor, we brought them down there the week before, and they went through, each man went through what he was going to do in the weekend as well. So when they actually arrive on site, there's nobody there saying, you do this and you do that. They all get straight to the job and they do it. And it's very good.
Battery hissing is actually good as well then.
Oh yes, it saves a lot of time.
And then we had to prepare the old bridge with lifting points, and it had six separate lifting points and lifted out. And that is, lifting the old bridge out is one of the riskiest parts of the procedure, because we've obviously got detailed calculations on what it's going to weigh, but there's always a little bit of doubt on what it's going to weigh. And this one came out really easily. It was 85 tonnes. It did snag on that corner over there. So as they were lifting, what the crane operators do on each of the lifting points, they have a load gauge, and as they're lifting it, they're watching the loading that's coming up on the gauge, so they can make absolutely certain that they never exceed, it never becomes dangerous. But that corner kept snagging, and the guys had to drop the bridge back down and had to get underneath with jackhammers and break it out so that the bridge could be lifted out. Something that Nuttall did, which was very effective. All the way along the abutments, they drilled and cored holes beforehand, and then they put a burster in, a mechanical device that goes in the hole, pushes outwards and breaks all the brickwork. So that when they came in to break it out, there was already a cut line right the way across, and that can save you hours in possession.
Due to the intricate planning of all activities carried out over the weekend of the installation, there were no significant health or safety incidents. All the work proceeded pretty much as planned. However, the installation of the bridge was not without its funnier moments.
Rang on the Friday before to ask about her cat, which got me slept on the embankment. Should she keep it in on the night over the weekend? We suggested she should.
On the Saturday night up on that embankment up there, was a courting couple sat watching it. They had better things to do, but they were there watching.
Sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sad, really. Right, we'll have a walk down, shall we?
Yeah.
Typical of any major infrastructure work on site, especially where the work has to be conducted at night, the delivery team has to be aware at all times of its neighbours and the effect that the work might be having on them. Noise is often the perceived major problem, but in fact the biggest problem can arise from other quarters.
general public will complain more about the lights than they do about the noise. You don't think of it, but you don't necessarily think of light as being pollution. But if you're in a house over there and there's searchlights, because that's basically what you have to do. You have to get completely lit up. It's going to upset them, isn't it? If it's shining through their window. It was originally. Right, then they brought these new bridges in on big wagons. They put these bearings on over there so that everything was ready, and then they got lifted over as 2 lifts, dropped onto the sill beams, and then it's simply the reverse of everything else that's gone on. Ballast back in, new track panels on timber sleepers, put the cables back, slew the wires over, weld the joints up, and run the trains. Easy.
So the track panels all built.
Challenge etiquette. Sorry.
The work of renewal of Bridge 14 began some 2.5 years before the weekend of possession. In that time, a significant amount of documentation was created. The team looked to exploit modern technology to handle this material.
We're moving towards giving the health and safety file back on the CD-ROM.
Yeah,
rather than
far cleaner, isn't it?
boxes and boxes. Yeah. Reconstructing a bridge like this creates maybe 4 or 5 boxes of information, of documentation, but it obviously can all be put on one CD-ROM.
The renewal of Bridge 14 was in all respects a very successful implementation. This is in no small measure due to the skill, experience and dedication of the people involved. The success of the project can be put down to the attention to detail in the planning and the doing of the ordinary things extraordinarily well. The team also had to exhibit significant doses of out-of-the-box type thinking to enable them to deliver a complex piece of engineering in a very restricted time window under very challenging conditions. Possessions were required for the waterway as well as the track. Many different people from various organisations had to come to site and knit seamlessly, without minute-by-minute direction, with the work that was going on. That they achieved this was due to excellent communications, clarity of purpose, and pre-installation drilling and dress rehearsals. The work was carried out with all the precision of a good military operation, with each individual knowing and understanding their purpose and contribution. The same team, with all of the learnings taken from this installation, are being kept together to conduct several other renewal schemes along the West Coast Main Line.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Mr. Phelps.
It is impossible to get an unmotivated team to succeed. However,
The tape will self-destruct.
a well-motivated team can achieve the impossible.
Should you decide to accept? Mr. Phelps.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
We made this!